folks, TJ here. Look at this tangled snake's nest. Kind of like Indiana Jones. You can imagine Indy right now lowering down and saying, oh, I hate snakes. And by the way, I hate allergies. I just came off of about a 15-minute sneezing attack. My nose is runny, but I have work to do, and I only have so much time to get this video done today, and I wanted to get it done. And I wanted to do it about joysticks. Everybody, their mother, their grandmother, their grandfather, aliens, you name it, at some point you have probably had a joystick in your hand. I would say, I don't know what the percentage is, but 90-something% I would think of the world. I don't know. And a lot of people have used joysticks, and I have a pretty dang good, somewhat dusty collection of a few. And then maybe I'm going to go off camera for a second because my nose is about to. Man. Allergies suck, and mine have been horrendously bad. But I wanted to talk. This is only a small selection. This is a lot of them that I have, but I've got joysticks and joypads for other platforms. This is my Atari collection. I have some duplicates, triplicates, especially of the old original, where are you, Atari type of joystick. I also wanted to read off to you, for some of you, you may not, if you're in the United States, I would think. Maybe if you were sci-fi or really hip, you would know what the word Kempston is. But I never used the word Kempston in the United States. I didn't start knowing about Kempston until I started playing with Sinclair's. So I printed out a cheat sheet, and we're going to read off what the heck the word Kempston is, because I use a lot of speckies. So I wanted to understand it a little bit more, and even if I understand it, I don't understand it. It's always amazing how companies have to, for example, this little connector is like used on every single freaking joystick, but yet they have to wire it a little differently and call it their own. There's some Sinclair ones that are like that. There's Amstrad. There's these other ones, TI 99, same type of thing, but they have to wire it a little bit differently. Or to have two joysticks on there, you had to have a little special dongle, and that dongle is wired differently or whatever. So it's like, what a pain in the ass. But let's read off the word Kempston first, and then I'll explore my little conglomeration of Atari joysticks, but let's read the word Kempston. Kempston Microelectronics. And everybody in the United States, probably a big percentage of you all, Kempston, what the hell's that? There was an electronics company based in Kempston, Bedfordshire, England. That's why we didn't know about it. Specializing in computer joysticks and related home computer peripherals during the 1980s. The Kempston interface, a peripheral which allowed a joystick using the de facto Atari joystick port standard to be connected to the ZX Spectrum, was one of the most widely used add-ons to the machine. Then there's a whole talk about the interface. The Kempston interface is a joystick interface used on ZX Spectrum series of computers that allows controllers complying with the de facto Atari joystick port standard using the DE9 connector to be used with the machine. The interface itself will be attached to the computer through an expansion port with a single joystick port on the front or top of the system. So basically it was, and then Kempston has their own joysticks too. So you could actually buy Kempston joysticks. And then it goes on to talk about when Amstrad released the ZX Spectrum 2, the computers feature a built-in joystick interface that's software compatible with Sinclair's ZX Interface 2 standard. However, the bundled SJS1 joystick was electronically incompatible with the Atari joystick. There's a whole bunch of gibberish, but needless to say, there's some people that say the Kempston interface, the Kempston joystick, because technically, I guess they were both. Kempston sold joysticks, there's the Kempston interface, but here in the United States, where it all is the only thing I care about today, because I got allergies, I don't give a shit about anything else. Atari joysticks, right? And Atari was king of the world for a long time in terms of video games. And this little joystick, and I purposely just threw them down here because nothing is more fun than having to fish cables. How many of you underneath your desk, if you go under there to Sheop's lair, you never come out? My buddy Mikey Brantley, he often says, I'm going under, call the paramedics if I'm not 10 minutes because we have so many electronics, so many wires, and even though you try to zip tie a few here and there, it still ends up becoming like this. But here's the Atari Joystick. Everybody and their mother had one. It was great. It worked fine. And I still have, I don't know how many of these I have, but I've got a lot of them in various degrees of age, use, and I still crank out and use these on a normal basis. So the Atari Joystick, I mean, you've seen it, but it looks good. It feels good in the hand. In my opinion, I prefer it over the circular and television stuff. I like having a little stick in my hand. Did I just say that? And I prefer little sticks. We'll talk about that in a second. But little stick in my hand, and it feels good. And it just... Especially with Space Invaders and Pac-Man. So the Atari original. And then Atari has a RF wireless model. Look at how thick and fat that son of a bee is. Look at that. And it's got an antenna on it. There's two of them. And there's a little controller box that's about the size of this wider that you got to sit on top of your Atari or near it to do an RF wireless control. It's a little laggy. I would say when you move it, you got to give some grace period in there. But look at this thing. It looks cool. And it does work. There is a off and on button. It does take batteries. So there's a battery port on the top. This one's got a bit of dust on it. What doesn't have dust in my house? And another reason I probably have allergy issues. But I don't want to dust because then I get really allergy. So wife, you need to dust. Hey, I do all the cooking. So she can do the dusting, damn it. So Atari had a wireless. And it's cool, but it's a little laggy. I'll be truthful. I made a video on that, so you can check that out. So when I was a youngster, I was a Ute. Where is my favorite joystick? Early on, when I first purchased my Atari 800 computer, because I was an Odyssey 2 kid. My Odyssey 2 came with nice controllers, but they were wired to the back. I never had any of this fun plug-in stuff, but I quickly, and it's the Epics. In the United States, I think it's Konix over where you guys are, that some of you watching this. This is the 500XJ Epics by Konix. But over there, you didn't use the word Epics. It was just Konix. But it was a nice short shank, contour to the hand, my favorite joystick. I have at least 2 of these, maybe 3. And they're in various states. Some days they'll work perfectly fine. I'll be jamming along and then it will stop working for a little bit. And I don't know if it's the game or, these things are 40 years old. So I'm 50-something years old and I've got a hook in my keister lately. Then I get up and I go, oh, every time I get up. Every time. I'm a little bit hyper today. And it's mostly, like I said, I came off a 15-minute sneezing attack. So all I did was sneeze for 15 minutes. It was a mess. But my favorite joystick is definitely this. And if you look, it's a little bit shorter of a shaft. I like the short shafts. I feel you have better control, a little less movement, a little more precise, instead of these conglomerations that you got to go halfway to Egypt and then to China to maneuver them around. I didn't like that. So Epics, if I had to pick one, I was on a desert island and it said you'd have one good joystick for the rest of your days, it would be this one. I love the Epics to hell. And that's pretty much what I feel like right now. I'm in snake. What's next? I'm just going to start grabbing. So I purchased this one from Amiga Kit. They were at the Ami West Commodore Amiga show that's in Sacramento every year. Hi, guys. I love going to that show, mostly for the booze, mostly for the people. I have a love and hatred of the whole Amiga Commodore platform at this stage of my life. I go for the people now and the booze. I'll be truthful. But I did buy one of these, and it is a Competition Pro Retro Joystick Speedlink. And it is actually, yes, it's got a big shaft. They were overcompensating or undercompensating for something, but it's relatively short still compared to some. It's pretty precise. There's a conglomeration of buttons on the top. I don't know what half of them do. Some of them are probably rapid fire, but it feels really good. I seldom use it though, which is funny because I use this one a lot, which is kind of arcader, which is a replica of it in a way. But it's pretty good joystick. Like I said, but for some reason, I don't know why I don't use it that much. But let's put this one over here. I need to cough again. Oh. I tell you, allergies suck. Most debilitating. I mean, there's people have much worse. So I'm not going to bitch and moan about it. But the arcader, I need to remove these. I'm not a suction cup kind of guy. There's some people that go, I don't find suction cups for anything work good for anything. They just don't suck on whatever you're sticking them on. Even if you put a piece of glass there, it's kind of like they still... I just don't like suction cups. I prefer holding it in my hand. But this is one made by Jordy, Arcader, and it was basically a replica, and it works. I use this one quite a bit. It's got 2 big buttons on the top, and it's got some buttons here. I think one of them's auto fire. They're not labeled, and I forget. I tend not to do and use any functions that will improve my video game. I want to go left, right, up, down, and shoot. That's what I do. And this joystick I got in the nice transparent red color. And I use this one quite a bit. There's been times, though, I've been playing it, and it's not going in a particular direction. Maybe it's the game again that I'm in or whatever. But, yeah, I use this one quite a bit. And it's Arcader. And look, like I said, it's got a very... familiar look, but it's got a little bit of shorter shaft, and I like it. This one works pretty good. So I'll stick this one over here. That's the Arcader. What's next? I haven't even tried this one yet, but I found this, and I have 2 of them in a bulk buy I did, and it says Wico on it, and it looks very similar to the Epic's contour of the hand. You see there's some contours here, and it's got the button, and it's got a short little shaft. I love the short shaft. It feels like it can be really precise. It's a bit stanky and dirty, and like I said, it was part of a bulk buy that I did. I need to give this one a whirl, because I think I may like it. And I've got 2 of them, so let's stick this one on the left. So this one says Wico on it. There's nothing else that says model or anything like that, so it's Wico. Okay, I forgot to cover this one. So Atari has the XEGS system. This joystick for the XEGS came in the beige Atari color. This one was purchased used with a used XEGS that doesn't do color anymore, only does black and white. So this one needs a little repair, at least in terms of this, but it still does work, and it looks the part of an XE based system. So I have one of these also. So we'll stick it over with the Atari supply. So you can see you had 2 different colors, but they're the same joystick. So that's cool. Now we're getting to the long shaft things, and then we'll get to one modern one here in a second. So let's cover this one first, because I think this one is kind of cool. I think I tried it once. Power Player, Mindscape Power Player. And it's one that you hold like this, and it's got a button. Pew, pew, pew. It's got a short shaft. Again, I love the short shafts. It's how you use it, not the label. I heard that before. I don't know where, but this one seems cool. Like, I would probably like it. I think I tried it once. It feels like it could be a fun one. You know, they make this really small mini joystick. I forget. It's a micro joy. I don't know what the name is, but it's really mini. It's about 1/4 the size of this thing. And it's supposed to really work. I may like that because it's got the shortest shaft in the world. This one's short. And so I'm going to put this one over in this world. But look, it's kind of, you hold it, it's contoured, it's a trigger thing. And you got the button on the front. Pew, pew, pew. I think that's kind of a nifty idea. I like that. Now we come to the 3 that I don't really like. I've had them in the past when I was a Ute. And I have them again now, purchased at some way. This one's a Point Master. But look, this shaft goes all the way over to New York, and I'm in California. This thing is so... Whoa! I mean, you got to do so much. Maybe if you want to lose weight, you want to use... you got to work out more. But this one says on the back, disc washer, Columbia, Missouri. Patents pending. There's no suction cups on it, but it's got only one. It feels spongy. Bump, bump. It's just big and shafty. I don't like the big shafts. So we're going to stick that in the middle. The big shaft shit right there. Another one, and this one's a Archer, but this one's got suction cups. Worthless. I hate suction cups. I know there's a contingent out there that probably likes them, but I never had good luck with them. This is a Radio Shack, custom manufactured in Hong Kong for Radio Shack. Interesting. And it says Archer. I should have known because Archer is big time Radio Shack. I think this is Atari. I'm guessing Radio Shack sold the hell out of Atari too. But yeah, your typical, don't let this plug fool you. That doesn't mean it's Atari. It could be for something else. But this one's got multiple power buttons. It's got a shooting button. Did I say power buttons before? If I did, it's fire button. But there's one on top here, suction cups. Oh, it's a big ass shaft, and it just, maybe if I'm like in an airplane going, anyway. Yeah, I think for maybe a flight type of thing, I could deal. But for precise movements, I prefer short shafts. Another big shaft one. This one is, what's it say? Weko! Another Weko, patent pending. So this one, look at this. This thing spins. It's like hard as nails in there. You don't hear any clicking, clanking. It's got one big I keep saying power button, but it's a fire button. Fire on top of it. There's no other buttons that I see. And Weko, it feels awkward. I could see, you got to hold it. Yeah, I don't like this at all. It feels weird. Maybe again, if I just do this and I'm going, but even that, it just feels weird. One last one. I've got other joysticks, but I'm not going to go through boxes and stuff to find everything. This is what I use frequently on my ZX Spectrum Next. So it looks like a modern controller. It's an 8-bit do. It's got a little dongle that allows it to connect to a Sega. And in this case, that little dongle works great on a Next. And it's your typical little joypad. I prefer joysticks. I'm not a joypad guy, but the convenience of having no wires, plugging in your dongle. You got to plug the dongle in once in a while. And just everything, it feels good in the hand. I'm not, like I said, a big fan of joypads. I prefer, you feel it, you hear it, you gnip it. But this is really nice. So if you have a Speccy Next, this one will work on that and Sega's. This wouldn't work on, I don't think, the older type of Ataris, because it does, I think, use a particular 5-volt or whatever it is out of the dongle to power it and communicate with it, and that doesn't, I don't think, work on older type of platforms. But modern, like the Next, it does. So, yeah, I love the heck out of this 8-bit do. I'm glad I have it. But overall, if I was, like I said, to pick one on a desert island for the rest of my days, it would be the Epix 500 XJ. Feels good. And now they're somewhat ordered. So now if I was smart, I would get some rubber bands, which I don't have. Every house should have a bag of rubber bands. But some twisty things, and put all the cables in nice, do this, and do this, and do this, and then get one of these. But see, it's not long enough. See, this is when you need the long. You need the long for something like this, but I think this might be just about long enough. And you do, no, see, it's too, it's really tight. I need longer twisty ties, but this one's just about right. So now I could tell my wife when she gets home, what did you do with yourself today? Well, I worked, but I made this video, and now look, I also organized my joysticks. I'm going to get some brownie points tonight. So thanks for watching this video. This is my little bit of an Atari, not Kempston. You UKers, fine. Call it a Kempston, whatever you want. I love Sinclair, but this is an Atari joystick. That's it. That's what I'm going to say. So thanks for watching the video. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.